Hi guys, welcome to the next video. I wanted to come forward and share a couple of messages that the Lord had given in the past several days. I know that I've already had the opportunity to get this on Facebook, but I've not had a chance to do it on YouTube, so I wanted to do that. I also wanted to come and just kind of double back and talk to you guys a little bit about some of the last videos that we did. In regards to the star one, and it's talking about the minor constellations and where we are per se, as in spring versus going into summer, being in Gemini and getting ready to go into Cancer, and really what those deacons or those minor constellations mean when we talked about them. It's all pointing to we're coming down to the wire, and I think a lot of you pretty much understood exactly what I was trying to say on some of those, and I know a lot of you have reached out and said how much it encouraged you, and I'm so glad it did, because you know it really encouraged me really just to be putting it together. Sometimes you wonder when the Lord is pointing you in a different direction. When He had me talking about and trying to figure out that 10 to 1, and when He was trying to talk to me about the minor constellations, and I took some time to dig into that and find out exactly what they were and what they meant, and it took some time to go through and understand the studies of it all, and then to come to find out when we're learning a little bit more about the stars and how the sun is coming in and rising into each of these, and what that means per se. And then to find out what the deacons do when they amplify and provide even more information as to what that constellation means. It really does paint a powerful picture. And so I just wanted to just kind of touch base on that. In the playlist on my YouTube channel, there is the deacon videos there. And so if you've not had an opportunity to take a look at those, they are jam-packed full of information. So please take some time to take a look at those if you have the opportunity to do so. And feel led of the Lord, of course. I think when I was bringing a couple of those videos to you, I was talking about one particular night that the Lord gave me 5 different dreams. And I understood that 2 of them, I was kind of, I say it was a dream, but actually I was just really in a dream state and receiving like information. I wondered, was this telepathy? Was I receiving it in that manner? Because I really didn't feel like I was speaking to someone. I definitely wasn't looking at anybody. It was just, I was understanding what I was being told. And I didn't see anybody. And so I basically just said that I received it in some type of a dream state. But I did have some other ones that night, and I wasn't real sure really what they meant. But I'm going to go ahead and share those with you so that you guys can, well, I'll share 2 of them with you. The third one I know is personal, and I'm really not going to get into that one. So one of them was, all I can remember is that when I heard the word star, it meant Jesus. So I was listening or reading something, okay, in my dream, and I don't know what it was. I have no idea. I wasn't allowed to remember what it was, but I knew that when I heard or saw the word star in regards to what I was listening to or reading in my dream, I knew it meant Jesus. And so I don't know what it was. I have absolutely no recollection as to what that was. So I don't know. And then the next one was really strange. I walked into a bathroom. Now, I felt like I was there. I walked into a bathroom, but I was totally naked. I didn't have any clothing on at all. But here's the weird part. And I mean, I've had dreams like, a dream where I didn't have my shirt on, and I was like running around trying to figure out I need a shirt, trying to cover up and trying to, embarrassed about what was going on or what have you, and it was usually only like, I didn't have my shirt on or something. But in this dream, when I walked into this bathroom, there was someone in the bathroom when I walked in, but I had absolutely no shame. I was not embarrassed. It didn't bother me that somebody was in the bathroom and I didn't have any clothes on. I just waltzed right on in, and I didn't have any problem with it. And I was wondering, well, what in the world? Because that is so strange. But it was so opposite of what some of my dreams have been many years ago, when I had those dreams that I didn't have something on. Something was missing, and I was trying to cover up and trying to find something else to put on or what have you. And basically that was the dream, trying to hide, trying to this, trying to that. And so I waltzed right into this bathroom. I didn't have any issue with it at all. And I actually opened the door to the stall, and I looked down, and I noticed that water was coming in around my feet. But while I looked down, I happened to see pant legs, and I said, well, what in the world? I had pants on. I didn't think I did when I walked in, but I realized I needed to hike my pants up because the water was coming in. So it wasn't still any issue about me not being fully dressed or anything. It was just like, it was just like another day. I didn't have any issue with it. So I sat back and I wondered about that, and I thought, Lord, is that just the fact that I've matured? Is it the fact now that I just totally trust in you and I'm okay? Is it the fact that, this dream versus the dreams that I had early on in my walk? I mean, what is this saying? What does it mean? Have I gotten everything out of my heart and my life that I don't feel like I need to hide anything anymore? I mean, am I now covered under you to such an extent that I don't need my stuff anymore? I really don't know. I have no idea. But that was one of the other ones that I had that night. It was a very busy night. I had 5. I was really surprised. That doesn't normally happen. And so guys, I had something else too I want to talk to you all about. For the last, I'm going to say almost for the last month, but really in the last several weeks, I have just been crying. I have in prayer with the Lord. If He says something and it just touches my heart, I just start crying. If I'm in prayer over those that I know need prayer, and I'm lifting them up before the Lord, I start crying. I have just been weepy for 2 weeks. And it's like every time I get in my car to drive to work, it's a cry fest the whole way there. And then when I get in my car to come home, it's another cry fest. And I'm telling you, it takes about 45 minutes to go one way or the other. And if there's traffic, it takes, if there's more traffic than normal, it takes longer than that. And so, this is just not like I'm hopping in the car and going around the corner kind of thing. No, I'm sitting and I'm talking to the Lord, and I've just been, it's been a heart-to-heart thing with Him. And it's just also been a time of great sorrow, mourning almost feeling. It's just been, there's some things I understand why I'm tearing up about it. It's just, I'm full of love in my heart, and the Lord's near. The Holy Spirit is present. It could be any of those things, or it could be the fact that I'm, I'm searching for answers with the Lord, and when I finally get them, it, waterworks. I'm not real sure if you guys are going through this or not. Um, it's the strangest thing, and I have just been, um, and I don't really think that's an attack per se. I just think it's just been something that I've been walking through, and so then I also had. I had where I really felt like the enemy was bringing back some old memories and old hurts and wounds and heartbreak, and um, I was hanging on with all I could to the Lord and the promises that He gave me, but it was a constant barrage against my heart to make me feel like, um, you know, just great sadness. I mean, I trust and believe in what the Lord is telling me is going to come to pass. He's never told me it was going to come to pass in this lifetime. And so I don't know when it's going to come to pass, but I trust and believe it will. However, I think it wasn't an issue about that. It was more of an issue of playing on my memories with some of this. And that's where I knew, oh gosh, I need to call a prayer warrior friend of mine, and I need to go in strong prayer. And I called a special friend of mine, and I just vented it all out, and just said, "Girl, I need prayer. Help me." And it's been tough. It's been tough. The enemy knows exactly where your weak points are, and the enemy knows exactly where your heart is, and that's where he's going to aim every single time. Whether it be through people around you, through family members, whether it be through issues with people and separations and issues in that manner, and then whether it be memories and hurts and wounds. That's why he works so hard with us to clear all of that out, to bring back some of those old memories and ask us to lay it down completely. And I felt like I had laid this down, and I trust and believe in what the Lord told me, but somehow the enemy got in here and started tweaking that one particular memory that I needed to let go. So I've been dealing with some things, and the Lord's been talking to me. How gracious and kind that He is. How compassionate that He is. If we're willing to lay down what's in front of us and let it go, and sit quietly in front of Him and allow Him to come to us, then He will. We have to shut our mind off. We have to shut the pain off, lay it down, and listen for Him. I know when He has pulled me through some really horrific times, and I am just like almost in despair, in crying, in tears, and what have you. He will come to me and He will say, "Daughter," and He will wait for me to respond to Him. And I heard Him, and I kept crying. It was like I couldn't stop. And He said, "Daughter," and I heard Him again. He reached out to me 3 times, and I finally said, "Lord, I'm tired." And He said to me, "Child, do you want me to entertain you?" Now, if you guys don't know that the Lord doesn't have a sense of humor, He has a sense of humor, but at that point I didn't want to. I wasn't even sure what I was hearing was from the Lord. And I just I ignored it. And He came back to me and He said, "Child," He said, "do you want me to wine and dine you? Well, I thought right then, here it is, the enemy just coming in for the full out fledged attack, and I just started rebuking. I rebuke any spirit that is not of Yahweh and Yeshua, and you don't talk to me. I bind you, da da da, yada yada. And so I just sat there and I started calming down a little bit. It was just wiping my tears, and he said, "Child." I said, "Yes, Lord." He said, "You are adorned." I said, "Lord, I don't even know what that means. I truly don't." And he said, "It means made beautiful." Now, I sat there and I thought, here's this enemy coming in wanting to just, get my hopes up with something, and I'm just not going to do it. So I got up and I went right to my computer and I pulled up Define Adorn, Scout's Honor. I pulled it up. You guys want to know what he said? This is what it said. Make more beautiful and attractive. The Lord is here for us, struggling through all of these things. And I know the enemy wants to put it in your mind that you're not hearing from him, when in fact you are, just in many different ways. You can hear from him through your dreams, through other people, through song, through messages, through prayer, through the Bible, through anything. I mean, if he can use a donkey to talk in the Bible, he can use anything. And he has told us, "My sheep hear my voice." He didn't say, "Some of my sheep hear my voice." He didn't say, "My sheep will hear my voice if they're doing right." No, he said, "My sheep hear my voice, and no other will they follow." That's what he said. That's what he said. He's not one that can lie. He's literal. He doesn't like sarcasm. He doesn't. Because that has a different intent. And he looks at the intent and motivation behind everything. Behind everything. And so, if he says, "My sheep know my voice," and you are a believer and follower of Yeshua, then you know his voice. You don't think you know his voice, but you know his voice. Okay? Now, I did a couple of videos on this, about keeping a journal and how you could go through and decipher what is his voice and what isn't. If you get an opportunity, go back and take a look at some of those. And there's a lot of good comments under there where folks have done their journals and how they started hearing and what was going on. So dig into some of that stuff. It's important. But I want to reach out to those that are really struggling right now. I know that we've been praying for the lost. And I know that we've been praying for our families and our friends, and those that are sick and wounded and need our help, and for our children. But guys, we need to pray for the brethren. We have a lot out there that are hurting right now. We have a lot that are under attack, big time. And they need our prayers. They need our prayers. If you have someone that you know, you've seen their YouTube channel, or you've seen messages that you believe are from the Lord that they've been sharing, or studies, or whatever, and you know that this is from the Lord, I'm going to ask that you keep them in your prayers. Keep them in your prayers, because the more they share the truth, the harder the attacks are, and the harder they have to struggle with trying to hear, trying to put another foot in front of the other, trying to keep moving forward. It's tough. It's hard. There's times that the enemy will just come right against you for a long time. And, there will be times that you're struggling to hear the Lord. But I'm telling you, we serve a great God. It's just like when somebody handicapped has to rely on the other senses because of the loss of one. So let's talk about that for a minute. If someone loses their eyesight, then they rely upon their ears a whole lot more. And they rely upon their hands to feel for things, right? So these other senses are magnified, they're amplified because of the loss of these. Okay? Well, it's the same thing with struggling to hear because the enemy is coming and bringing static in or causing a bunch of words to come in when you're trying to hear what the Lord is saying. You're trying to cover up with what you're trying to say. Well, then here's what's going to happen. Okay? You're going to get more dreams. You're going to get visions. You're going to have more songs that just talk to you. Say, wow, I can't believe I just heard that. You might be reading something in a book and something's just going to pop out, or maybe scripture's going to pop right out the page. That's how the Lord works. That's how He does it. And so if I go through a time where I'm not receiving any of the messages, or it's sporadic because of difficulty hearing or being able to press in for whatever reasons, distractions or hindrances or what have you, then He gives me He gives me more dreams. He gives me more visions. He's been talking to me in how many different ways in the last couple of times that I've come out and talked to you guys on the videos? He can come and talk to you in many different ways. So guys, don't despair. If you're running into problems right now, don't despair. Don't despair. Because He is still with you. He is still speaking to you. Just stop for a minute and try and figure out where's He coming from now. Okay? Because He's going to make sure His children are taken care of. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? He's not going to lose any of His children. He wants none to perish, but He's definitely not going to lose any of His children. So guys, I just want to encourage you in that manner. Just stop and take a minute. It could be a billboard that He's got something up there. It could be anything. Anything. So stop and take a look at the signs that are around you. Take note of them. Okay? All right, so that was July the 11th. Oh, I had a strange dream last night where I stole a semi. Don't ask me. And it was strange too because it was somebody in my family that's already passed that I was trying to get out of darkness. See, there's something to that. There's something to that. I don't know the interpretation behind this dream, and I know it's a personal one to me, but guys, I stole a semi in the middle of darkness to get one of my family members that's already passed out of darkness. We ended up on a churchyard, and as soon as I said, "Oh, we're in a churchyard," it got light. It was day again, and I saw a parking lot, and I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna park this truck right over here." So I don't know if I was on a mission last night. I don't know if this other person was representative of somebody. I'm not sure. I'm not real sure. But anyway, it's very, very interesting dream. I'm still digging into it and praying over it. But it's very, very strange that the dream has, I was getting somebody out of darkness. Very interesting. Okay, let's go over some of the messages that I have received. The messages that I got on July the 10th.